that little yellow nightie you used to wear?
You love that nightie.
Made you look like a big banana.
Cheers, tonight at 11 on Channel 5. Our regularly scheduled programming will not be seen tonight, so that we may bring you the following special presentation of UFO Cover-Up.
I was on the way to my grandma's house about 4 years ago, and this big flash of light in the sky appeared with all different colors coming down from it, and it was like it was going to land right in front of us. And it never did. It just shot up in the air all of a sudden really fast. And it was right before Christmas time, and my mom and everyone else saw it, and we really thought it was neat.
We noticed a very bright star-like object raised behind the rim of the forest. It was rising slowly at an angle in our direction. Then, when it had reached a considerable height and was right above us, we saw a flash like an explosion. Then this object turned and disappeared out of sight at tremendous speed.
While the sightings in the Soviet Union are sensational, the story of Gulf Breeze will play a major role in our program tonight. We're down here in Florida, where we've assembled a whole town full of people who say they've seen the UFO that's haunted this community since last November.
The fact that we are in contact with the extraterrestrials shouldn't be hidden from the people.
My name is William Coleman. When I was at the Pentagon, I was Public Information Officer for Project Blue Book. Before that, I was a fighter-bomber pilot, and I saw a flying saucer.
We in the Soviet Union are interested in exchanging information on UFOs and extraterrestrials.
Hands and very oval-shaped eyes, very narrow nose, slit for a mouth, slits for ears, no hair on the head, kind of a bulb-shaped head.
Tonight, for the first time in history, men and women from all over the world come together via satellite to share their experiences about unidentified flying objects. Live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., LBS presents, in association with Seligman Productions, UFO Cover-Up, live. Please welcome the distinguished actor-producer, our host, Mike Farrell.
Good evening. What do a colonel in the United States Air Force, a waiter in the Soviet Union, a teacher in California, and a former United States president have in common? Well, they all claim to have witnessed unidentified flying objects in the skies. What we're dealing with tonight is a subject of universal interest. Whatever your view, in the next 2 hours, you'll hear claims and counterclaims. You'll hear some astounding, perhaps disturbing things which, if true, could have far-reaching implications in our lives. As is so often the case in complex questions, it comes down to our assessment of the credibility of the individual. So in this show, you can take part by giving your opinion as to that credibility. You'll also have the opportunity to report your own experience. Do saucers and ETs exist? Does your government know about them? If so, are they covering it up? Why? Well, let's find out more.
UFO Cover-Up is sponsored in part by Quaker 100% natural cereal. Everything else is just cornflakes. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Jif Peanut Butter for fresh roasted peanut taste. Choosy moms pick Jif.
My mouth has a terrible time waking up in the morning. Come on. You know why? Most cereals bore it to sleep. Come on. Want to see it come alive? Watch. Quaker natural cereal. My mouth gets a charge of whole grains, honey, almonds, raisins, a bunch of different textures, a blast of different tastes. That's reveille, man. My mouth will never get back to sleep. Once you taste Quaker natural, everything else is just cornflakes.
Hello. Hi, Robbie. How's school?
Fine. But I think Higgins has to go out.
Amy, would you let the dog out, please? So how's...
There goes Dad for his 8 o'clock snack.
Al, we just ate. Rob, what's wrong?
Who said anything's wrong?
You're not the only one in this family who can hear.
When the people you love come through loud and clear, that's AT&T.
Oh, here she is. So I got up and walked out. You left work early? I told them I couldn't miss my kid's game again.
She's crazy. She's brave. What is that?
They call it peanut butter. You cut out of work early, then give her that brand? Lighten up, guys. They're all the same.
Yeah, and the sky is purple.
Smell, Jif. Hey, Jif smells more like
fresh roasted peanuts.
Oh, if this stuff tastes as good as it smells, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble. Jif is the peanuttiest.
Great stuff.
Outrageous. So I'm not done to read.
You're close.
For more fresh roasted peanut taste, choosy moms choose Jif.
Don't be a baby. If you don't take your cold medicine, how are you ever going to feel better? Try NyQuil Cherry Flavor. It's the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest in a great cherry flavor medicine.
The allure of expensive perfumes is irresistible. Now discover the allure of new Ara designer fragrance antiperspirants, similar in scent to some of the world's finest perfumes. Samara, a classic oriental scent. Caprios, an exotic floral. Verona, a spicy oriental. And Marseille, a delicate fresh floral. All with arid protection against wetness and odor. 4 alluring new Ara designer fragrance antiperspirants. They make getting a little closer, a little nicer.
And now, back to Washington, D.C. for UFO Cover-Up Live. Your host, Mike Farrell.
A recent Gallup poll discovered that only 1/3 of the American public denied the existence of unidentified flying objects. UFO encounters are categorized into 4 groups.
It was a U-shaped craft. I don't know how large it was because it's hard to scale distance in terms of how far I was. My sister and I were just walking around the block. And we looked up, and there were, lights on the bottom part of it that we could see as we looked up. And
this person has experienced a close encounter of the first kind. You've had a close encounter of the first kind if you've seen a daylight disk or nocturnal light UFO at close range. On April 14th, 1984, hundreds of people in the small mining town of Morenci, Arizona, witnessed a huge boomerang-shaped object in the sky. Close encounters of the second kind are visual evidence of a UFO's landing, such as impressions made by the craft, burned or irradiated soil, trees, or grass. In August of 1979 in northern Minnesota, when Deputy Sheriff Val Johnson encountered a brilliantly lighted object, his vehicle was knocked off the road, the hood dented, 2 antennae bent, and a headlamp broken. In a close encounter of the third kind, which Steven Spielberg made famous, the witness observes or actually confronts the occupants of the UFO. Close encounters of the fourth kind include people who claim to have been abducted by extraterrestrials. In almost every case, abductees also claim to have been medically examined by the ETs and eventually returned home, unable to account for the missing time. Now, there is a nominal charge of $1 on your phone bill for each call to our 900 number. The phones are active only in the United States and Canada from 8 p.m. Friday, October 14th through 1 a.m. Saturday, October 15th, Eastern Daylight Time. So, if you've had a close encounter of the first kind, please call 1-900-400-6181. Close encounters of the second kind, call 1-900-400-6182. If you've experienced a close encounter of the third kind, please call 1-900-400-6183. That's only if you've had a third kind encounter, though, not if you've just seen the movie. If you had a close encounter of the fourth kind and you are back, we're anxious to hear from you. Please call 1-900-400-6184. Finally, if you have never had an encounter with an unidentified flying object, please call 1-900-400-6185. If you haven't had an encounter with a UFO and would like to, that's a long-distance call, and I don't have the number. Tonight, some of the world's leading UFO experts are joining us here in Washington, D.C. Now, welcome the author of The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, the distinguished astrophysicist, Dr. Thomas McDonough. Dr. McDonough, welcome to the show.
It's great to be part of this event.
In In your opinion, are we alone in the universe?
Well, my own estimate is that just in our galaxy alone, there could be millions of planets that might be capable of sustaining life as we know it. The size of the universe is difficult to comprehend. In this galaxy, there are several hundred billion stars. Each one of these dots represents a galaxy, like our Milky Way. There are billions of them. So the sheer enormity of the numbers leads many scientists like myself to conclude that there must be life somewhere in the universe.
Now, there are many theories about the origin of life. How do you think life first began in the universe?
Well, that's where the cosmic cookbook of life comes in. It goes like this. Take one medium-sized planet and place it near an average-sized star. Don't put it too close to the fire or it will burn, not too far away or it will freeze. Add water, ammonia, methane gas, and electricity in the form of lightning to get things going. Stir and wait patiently, but you'll have to be very patient. It might take several hundred million years. But sooner or later, we think that some of those molecules will make bigger ones, and the bigger ones will make even bigger ones, and then reproduction will begin, and life is born. But perhaps the most important lesson we've learned about life here on Earth is that it is incredibly adaptable. From prehistoric times until today, from the depths of the ocean to the driest deserts, to the freezing cold at the highest mountain peaks, life forms on Earth are thriving. The reason I believe life probably exists elsewhere is the widespread availability of the ingredients in the cosmic cookbook of life.
So if extraterrestrials exist and are visiting us, then how do they get from there to here?
One possibility is that in space you could accelerate until you were very close to the speed of light. With fusion rockets using the abundant hydrogen and helium already in space, so the rocket wouldn't have to be burdened carrying fuel, you could increase your energy by millions of times compared with conventional rockets. So, within our lifetime, even with our primitive technology, according to scientists Robert Bussard, Robert Forward, and Stanton Friedman, round trips to nearby stars could very well be feasible. We are close to being able to get from here to there.
Thank you, Dr. Tom McDonough.
Stay with us. Bill Moore and Jamie Chandere introduce us to their government informants, codenamed Falcon and Condor. To protect their identities, they were photographed in shadow with their voices disguised. Stay with UFO Cover Up Live and find out why Project Blue Book was classified top secret when we come back after this.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The Soviets had sent missiles to Castro. Tell the Freedom Riders that were with him. If it's violence they want, we'll show it to them. If the South Vietnamese want their independence, they're going to have to get it themselves. Don't you worry about Texas, Mr. President.
From the triumph on Election Day to the tragedy in Dallas, Kennedy, a 3-night miniseries coming October 24th to Channel 5.
The amazing Isuzu Trooper. It has a powerful fuel-injected engine, 4-wheel drive, power steering, and 4-wheel disc brakes, all standard. Yet it's over $1,000 less than Jeep Cherokee, Bronco 2, and S10 Blazer. And if you buy a Trooper now, we'll throw in this attractive car cover.
Act now and get a $750 factory rebate available on all Troopers 2 or 4-door.
10 years ago, Proposition 13 made it possible for California homeowners to afford their homes by cutting property taxes. Today, Proposition 101 makes it easier for all California drivers to afford auto insurance. Proposition 101 rolls back rates to October 1987 and then cuts them an average 1/3. That means an average family saves about $750 a year. Let Proposition 101 do for your insurance rates what Proposition 13 did for your property taxes.
I've never known a thrill like this. Right combination, just can't miss. Wiener Schnitzel's chili dog and new chili fries. A chili duet that's hard to forget. Wiener Schnitzel, nobody hot dogs you like you do.
Introducing Wiener Schnitzel's Chili Duet. Our delicious chili dog and new chili fries. At $1.89 is the right combination.